Welcome to the Dice Tower, a video cast all about the world of board games and the people who play them. This is the 2010 edition of our annual Top 100 Board Games of All Time, featuring the Vassal family.
Hi, I'm Tom Vassal. This is Melody, my daughter. We are people who love games. And we're here to talk about our top 100 board games. We're going to show you 5 on Melody's list and 5 on my list. Starting with number 45, I think. So let's get right to it.
Number 45, Los Monfos.
In Los Monfos, or as we call it, Donkey Poop, you're moving donkeys around the board. And the only reason you're moving them around is basically to mess with your memory. On a player's turn, they'll turn a card over, and it shows them how far to move that color donkey. Move the brown donkey 2 spaces, and then that player feeds the brown donkey 2 pieces of food. Now the food, you can see is just different little colored discs, and a player announces what food they feed it. And this happens until a certain point comes, and it shows that a certain donkey decides to poop at that point in time. All the players then secretly say which color food they want from the donkey. You take the donkey, you lift his tail, all the food comes out, you look, and let's say, for example, there was 1 red and I'm the only person who picked red, I get to keep that red. If there was 4 reds and me and 1 other person picked red, we both get 2 reds. And so there's 2 aspects, memory and then trying to outfox the other players, because whoever has the most discs at the end is the winner.
This game is fun to me because you're trying to make the donkeys poop, which is my favorite part. Making the donkeys poop, feeding them, moving them around the track, and even trying to guess of what they're gonna do, and it's just a fun game. 45, Battle Stations.
Battle Stations is a game which really almost, even again, another one that's been on my list for 6 years, but should it even be on the list because it's almost closer to a role-playing game than it is a board game. Well, there's a lot of board stuff in it. Basically, in this game, you're the captain, you're the engineer, you're the pilot, you're one of those folks, and you're flying a spaceship, and you have a board, and it shows a spaceship, but people are going to board your spaceship. You're going to try and do things, and you can move around on a spaceship and go to different stations. There's multitudes of different expansions, which adds different modules for the ships. You can build giant ships, small ships. The variety is endless. You can have all different weapons, and there's many different things going on. So, a very fun space game, Battle Stations.
Number 44, Apples to Apples.
I'm sure you know what the premise of Apples to Apples is, but one person plays a green apple like this, messy. And not everyone else plays different cards secretly from their hand, and then the one player turns them over. Which one of these is messy? Floods, running in a race, Niagara Falls, kisses, painting a fence, and soldiers. Which one of these is messy? So the judge, Melody, picks. She picks soldiers. That's the one I put down. Ha ha ha. So I get the green card. First person to get a certain amount of green cards is the winner. Of course, I could argue and say, come on now, we all know kisses are messy. Blah, who likes the kissing? Or whatever you want to say. Painting a fence, how's that not messy?
Kisses can be chocolate, too.
Okay, well, maybe. And so there's this back and forth idea. Apples Apples is yet another game that both Melody and I have on our top 100 list.
I like this game because you're coaxing people to pick your card, and like, no, that isn't messy, or that isn't loving, and yeah, it's just a fun way to play this game. Number 44, War of the Ring.
This game is heavy, War of the Ring, and that's because this game encompasses the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy by Tolkien into one board game. You have people, I mean, if you can see the picture in the back of the box, I'm not spending the time to set this sucker up to show you all, but it is huge, it's beautiful. This past year, they just came out with a enhanced version, $500 version of this game with beautifully painted pieces. Why would they do that for a game that's no good? It really is that good. It really has that thematic of a feel to it. Now, will I keep this copy now that I am in the gaming group with someone who actually bought the enhanced version? I don't know. But even still, regardless, you get your money's worth from this game. You get heft from it. You get to play Gandalf and the Balrog, and all of them are in here, especially when you throw in the expansion.
Number 43, Ghost Chase.
If you've ever played Scotland Yard, this game has a very similar feel to that. Each player will take different players, and they're moving around the castle trying to corner a ghost. And the game actually even has a unique method where you'll punch out these little animals and place them in corresponding spots on the board to show the passage of time. And the ghost can use secret passages, but eventually it's possible for him to be cornered. He uses his movement using cards to show how he moves around the board, and players will move on the board itself. So it's in essence, it's Scotland Yard for kids, but it's actually probably funner.
I like this game because you're chasing after a ghost, and it's fun to help others and trying to let them help you. Like, hey, maybe he's over here because he's obviously not over here. Like, okay, maybe he went this way. It's just a fun game for me to play this way. Number 43, Galaxy Trucker.
Third year in a row that Galaxy Trucker's been on my list, and for good reason. Galaxy Trucker is the kind of game that as soon as I saw it played, it instantly appealed to me. Galaxy Trucker has a real-time element to it in which you're grabbing tiles and building a spaceship. And then once everyone's done building your spaceship, you turn over piles of cards to see what happens to your spaceship. And usually your spaceship is getting blown apart by pirates, destroyed by asteroids, you have people stolen off your spaceship, and it's hilarious fun. You cannot take the game that seriously, even though you do have strategies that you can do in the game. The expansion came out for it, the big expansion, that's the box you see here, which added a lot of different things to it and really revitalized the game and kept it fun. This is one I think should be in everyone's collection, Galaxy Trucker.
Number 42, The Kids of Catan.
Here's Kids of Catan with this sliding board town on the top, and the game's very simple. On your turn, you roll a die, which just shows 1, 2, or 3. You move around, you move the board like this, and each player, for example, the white player stops here, so he gets hay. And once you get one of each, then you turn them all back in to any empty spot on the board, and you get a building of your choice. Whoever gets the most buildings is the winner. Very, very high component quality.
I like this game because I just really like to play it with my younger siblings, and it's fun to rotate the board around, trying to get the different ingredients. And yeah, I just like the part of how the ingredients follow the person while you're moving the board around. And the artwork on the houses is really cool. It's just a fun way to play this game. Number 43, Crumbling.
Alright, for the 6th year in a row, there's a game on the list that I still, for the 6th year in a row, don't have. Still trying to get it. I've had people offer me copies before, but the prices were simply too much for me. But Kremlin is just a fantastic game. Kremlin, which recreates Soviet Union from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and you control different people in the Kremlin, trying to secretly control them, trying to knock other people out and move other folks in. I really wish a publisher would come along and reprint this game. It could use a little bit of modernization, maybe some upgrades to how the game plays, but still, for just the feel of it, the fear that someone that you control is going to be sent to Siberia, or just off with them. They're sent to prison. There's so many different things that can go forth, and some minor character might suddenly become the premier, and you control the power there. A lot of power play, a lot of negotiation, and a lot of role-playing, especially for those who grew up during the Cold War. I really like Kremlin. Maybe someday I'll magically find it at a thrift store.
Number 41 is Roll Through the Ages.
Roll Through the Ages, in a sense, feels like Yahtzee because you're rolling 3 dice each turn. But depending on what, and you can re-roll your dice, a couple times. But depending on what you roll, depends on what happens. You might be getting food that you add to your nation. You might get people who can work, which will build more buildings, which can give you more dice. Or you can build monuments, which get you points. You can build developments, which gives you everything else. In a sense, in a very limited sense, it is a civilization building game. But it is also a dice game with really neat components. You can play it by yourself or you can play it with other people.
I like this game because you're trying to build these little towns, and it's just fun. It actually makes me feel like I'm a mayor of a town trying to do stuff for the town. It's a really fun game to play, and playing a one-player game is really boring. You might not want to do that. But 2 players, and it's just a fun game for me. 41 Hollywood Blockbuster?
Hollywood Blockbuster, the version I have here, Fabrik der Traum, the German version, is just a fun auction game in which you are making movies. And you are hiring different actors into those movies. Now, this game comes with old people from the 1920s and 30s and 40s. The Hollywood Blockbuster version comes with caricatures. I actually went on the internet and printed off modern actors and stuck them in. And it's really funny to see things like Jim Carrey in some very, in King Kong, or to see Alfred Hitchcock directing Lord of the Rings. How are those things? That's funny, but there's actually a really good game in this too. The bidding, when I bid for something, the amount that I bid is split evenly between all the other players. So you're going to win something eventually. A very fun game. Well, 5 more games. We're about to move into our top 40. So we hope that you go to our website, check out all the information about the games, and watch, because we have 9 more videos coming of lots of exciting games to see. Until next time, I'm Tom.
And I'm Melody.
We'll see ya.
Tune into our next show for more Top 10 gaming goodness, or check out our website at www.thedicetower.com for more reviews and top 10 lists. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.